Welcome to another deep dive. This time we're taking on comedy.
Yeah, comedy.
And I know our listeners are the kind of people who want to understand the real mechanics of what makes people laugh.
It really is fascinating.
Whether they're thinking of braving open mic night themselves,
Oh, yeah.
or just fascinated by the art form.
Right.
You're right, it is fascinating. It's like there's so much more than just getting up there and telling a good joke.
It's so much deeper than that. Yeah.
There's a whole history of humor, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's scientific theories behind what makes things funny,
Mm-hmm.
and like a whole business side to the industry.
There is, yeah. People don't always think about that side of it.
No, not at all. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, you know that saying, right? With the iceberg.
Huh.
The audience only sees the tip, the performance.
Right.
But underneath that is this huge mass of craft and strategy
Exactly.
and even psychology.
You got it.
And that's what we're diving into today.
We are.
We're going to be looking at, how humor theories explain why we find things funny. The nuts and bolts of how do you actually craft a joke, and how do comedians use storytelling.
Right.
Plus, we'll tackle those curveballs like hecklers and the whole new world of online comedy.
Oh, it's a whole different beast now.
Yeah, totally different. So first up, let's get into this science of humor.
Okay.
I was reading in the source material about these different theories, right?
Yeah.
Incongruity, superiority, and relief. I'll be honest, I've never thought about laughter in those terms before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's a scientific thing.
It is. It's really interesting.
It is interesting.
So the incongruity theory, for example, suggests that we laugh when our expectations are disrupted. Our brains are constantly trying to predict what's going to happen next, and when something unexpected happens, it can trigger laughter.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like that classic example from the source material about the word swirl as being funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's like so random and out of place that it catches us off guard.
Right, exactly. The word itself isn't funny, but the context is what makes it funny.
It's the incongruity.
Yes, exactly. And then you have the superiority theory, which suggests that we laugh at other people's misfortunes because it makes us feel superior.
Okay, that one's a little darker,
It is a bit darker, yeah.
but I can see it.
Like slapstick, for example.
Yeah, like someone slipping on a banana peel.
Exactly. We laugh, but there's also a sense of relief that it wasn't us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right, it taps into our sense of self-preservation. And finally, there's the relief theory, which suggests that laughter is a release of pent-up tension or nervous energy.
Like a pressure valve.
Yes, exactly. You build up anticipation, and then the punchline releases that tension and results in laughter.
That's a great way to put it.
And what's interesting is that all of these theories can work together sometimes. It's not always just one or the other.
Oh, so they can overlap.
They can definitely overlap.
Okay, I can see that. But how does all this theory translate into actually crafting a joke? Is there like a formula for making people laugh?
Well, the source material really breaks down the classic setup punchline structure. It talks about how important it is to create anticipation in the setup, leading the audience down a certain path,
Okay.
and then using the punchline to deliver a surprise or a twist.
They used that great example from Richard Pryor, right?
Yes.
Told my wife, I'm leaving you. What are you going to do without me? The same things I did with you, but with less hassle and more sex.
Oh, classic Pryor.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because the setup makes you think he's going to say something sentimental or apologetic, and then bam, he hits you with that unexpected honesty and dark humor.
Yeah, that's what makes it work, that twist.
Exactly.
But timing must be crucial too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The source material really stresses that timing is everything in comedy. Deliver the punchline too early or too late, and it loses its impact.
It's all about the rhythm.
It is finding that perfect rhythm and pause
Makes sense.
to maximize the laugh.
And beyond the timing, they also talk about wordplay.
Yes.
Like using puns and double entendres to add another layer of humor.
Oh, wordplay can be so powerful.
Right.
It's about playing with language in unexpected ways to create surprise and delight.
But the source material also makes the point that the best jokes often come from personal experiences.
Absolutely.
Like it's that authenticity that really resonates with an audience.
It's true. When a comedian shares something genuine, something they've actually lived,
Yeah.
it creates a much deeper connection with the audience.
It makes the humor more relatable, more human.
Exactly. It's like they're inviting us into their world, sharing a part of themselves through laughter.
But how do you know which personal experiences to share?
Right.
Not every story is going to be comedy gold, is it?
That's where the art of storytelling comes in. The source material contrasts the styles of two legendary comedians, Richard Pryor, known for his raw confessional style, and George Carlin, who had a more observational approach, commenting on society and culture.
Oh, both masters of storytelling.
Absolutely.
But in totally different ways.
Totally. Exactly.
Like Pryor draws you in with his vulnerability,
Yeah.
while Carlin makes you think with that sharp wit of his.
Exactly. And the source material really emphasizes that there's no one right way to do comedic storytelling.
Okay, so it's all about finding your own voice.
Yes, your own style, figuring out what connects with your audience.
So it's a process of experimenting,
Absolutely.
trying different things and seeing what works.
Well, yeah. But what about those moments when things don't go as planned?
Oh, yeah.
What about hecklers?
Oh, man.
That's got to be every comedian's worst nightmare.
It's a tough one, but the source material actually has some good advice on how to handle hecklers.
It does, yeah.
Plus, it gets into the psychology of why people heckle in the first place. So it's not always about them being malicious.
No, not always. Sometimes it's just about attention seeking
Oh.
or a misguided attempt to be funny themselves.
So understanding their motivation can help you respond better.
Exactly. They even talk about a technique called the pause and stare,
What's that?
where you literally just stop, stare at the heckler, and let the awkward silence do the work.
Oh, wow. That's like a comedic Jedi mind trick.
Yeah. Use the force of awkwardness to disarm them.
I like it.
But the source material also acknowledges that sometimes a heckler just crosses the line.
Right.
And you need to get security involved.
Yeah.
It's knowing when to engage and when to protect yourself in the audience.
That's a tough balance.
It is. Speaking of balance, the source material also gets into performing for different audiences.
Yeah, you can't just use the same material everywhere, can you?
No, absolutely not. The expectations of a comedy club audience are very different from, say, a corporate event or a private party.
So it's all about understanding your audience.
It is.
Their demographics, their cultural background, and tailoring your material accordingly.
That's a key takeaway. And they use the examples of Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan,
Oh, yeah.
who have both mastered the art of appealing to a wide range of audiences while still being true to their own voices.
Right. Seinfeld with his observational humor, Gaffigan with his self-deprecating style, both super successful.
Exactly. But taking different paths to connect with those audiences.
And the source material also really stresses that reading the room is crucial.
It is.
Sensing the energy of the audience, paying attention to their reaction,
Yeah.
and adjusting your act on the fly.
That's a constant feedback loop, isn't it?
It is.
You're not just delivering a set, you're interacting with the audience.
Yeah, and creating that shared experience together.
It's a dynamic process, and that's what makes live comedy so exciting.
But we can't forget that for a lot of people these days, comedy is mainly experienced online.
Oh, that's true.
The source material even talks about how the internet has both changed the game and created this whole new set of challenges.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
For sure.
On the one hand, it's easier than ever for comedians to reach a global audience.
Right.
But on the other hand, you're competing with literally millions of other creators for attention.
That's a lot of competition.
It is. And the way humor works online is different too.
It is.
The timing has to be adjusted. And a joke that kills in a club could easily go viral for all the wrong reasons online.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
It is. But the source material does point out how comedians are using platforms like YouTube and podcasts and Twitch to build their brands and connect with fans.
So it's about being adaptable, finding creative ways to use these new platforms,
Exactly.
and really understanding how humor works online.
Yes, absolutely. It's a whole new world out there.
It is. And as we dig deeper into the source material, we'll be looking at strategies for using social media, creating engaging content, and navigating this ever-changing world of digital comedy.
It's exciting and scary all at the same time.
It is, yeah. It's
Yeah.
a whole new frontier out there.
It is.
It's amazing to think about how much the internet has changed things for comedians.
It really has, yeah.
But the source material also takes us back in time a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, exploring the history of humor,
Oh.
going all the way back to court jesters and ancient Greek satire.
Wow, that's a long way back.
It is. And it's fascinating to see how humor has always been used for social commentary, even centuries ago.
It has. Those court jesters were like the original roasters, weren't they?
They were.
Using wit to point out the absurdity of the powerful.
And they had that certain level of protection, right?
They did.
Because they were the fool. They could get away with saying things that others couldn't.
Right. It highlights how humor can be subversive. You know, a way to challenge the status quo without directly confronting it.
That's interesting.
And the source material also explores how comedy can be used for advocacy.
Oh, yeah.
To raise awareness about important issues.
It's like sneaking in a message under the guise of laughter.
Exactly. You make people laugh, and then while their defenses are down, you hit them with a thought-provoking point.
I like it.
But they also caution against being too preachy or heavy-handed, you know? You've got to find that balance between the humor and the message.
So the laughter doesn't get lost.
Right. They use the example of George Carlin.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a master at tackling taboo subjects with both wit and intelligent.
He really made you think, but he also made you laugh.
He did, didn't he? He was a true innovator.
He was.
Pushing boundaries, but doing it in a way that was both insightful and entertaining.
For sure. But the source material also acknowledges that there are limits.
Yeah, of course.
Some topics might be too sensitive or too raw for comedy.
Right.
And comedians need to be mindful of their audience and the potential impact of their words.
Especially in today's world where everything can go viral so quickly.
Yeah, the source material actually mentions Trevor Noah facing backlash for some of his early tweets.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's a good reminder that every joke is potentially a public statement these days.
It is.
And comedians have to be aware of the context and the potential consequences.
Absolutely. But the source material doesn't shy away from the complexities of humor in the digital age.
No, it doesn't.
It also explores how comedians are using technology to find new audiences and build their careers.
It's amazing how they're adapting, using platforms like YouTube, podcasts, and streaming services to reach a global audience.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not just about passively uploading content anymore either.
Right.
They're actively engaging with fans online, building communities, and creating new ways to connect with audiences.
It's almost like a comedian has to be their own marketing team, PR team, and content creator all rolled into one.
It really is. It's a lot.
It is. And the source material actually gives some practical tips for navigating this new landscape.
Oh, that's good.
From understanding social media algorithms to creating content that cuts through the noise.
So it's not just about being funny anymore.
No.
It's about being tech savvy, business minded, and building a brand that resonates online.
Exactly. It's a whole different ballgame.
But in the midst of all this business and technology, the source material never loses sight of the core of comedy, right?
It does.
The craft of storytelling.
It's still about finding the humor in your own life and sharing it with the world.
And I love how they use Kevin Hart and Patton Oswalt as examples.
Those are good examples.
They've built these incredibly successful careers on sharing their own stories, their
Okay.
vulnerability, their unique perspective.
Yeah.
And it's that authenticity that makes them so relatable and engaging.
Exactly. They're not just telling jokes, they're inviting us into their lives.
Right.
Making us laugh and sometimes even making us think.
The source material really breaks down the elements of good comedic storytelling.
It does, yeah.
You know, from structure and timing to character development and delivery.
It's like a masterclass in how to craft a narrative that makes people laugh.
It sounds like it.
And it emphasizes that storytelling isn't just about the words on the page. It's about the delivery, the pauses, the nonverbal cues that add another layer of humor and meaning.
So that perfect blend of verbal and nonverbal communication is what brings the story to life.
It is. But the source material also acknowledges that storytelling takes practice, refinement, and a willingness to experiment.
Of course.
They talk about using audience feedback as a tool to figure out what works, what doesn't.
So it's like a conversation between the comedian and the audience.
It is.
Putting something out there, seeing how it lands,
Yeah.
and then adjusting your act accordingly.
Exactly. And
Okay.
sometimes that conversation involves dealing with those hecklers.
Oh, yeah, those are the curveball.
They are those unexpected moments that can either derail a show
Right.
or create a truly memorable one.
It's like walking a comedic tightrope.
It is.
You're trying to balance your prepared material with these unscripted moments that
Yeah.
make each performance unique.
They do. And the source material actually digs deep into the psychology of hecklers.
Oh, really?
It explores their motivations and offers some good strategies for handling these disruptions.
That's interesting.
It's not just about witty comebacks either. They talk about using silence, wit, or even self-deprecation to disarm a heckler and turn the situation to your advantage.
Oh, wow. So you can actually use it to make the show even better.
You can. But they emphasize staying calm, maintaining control, and never losing sight of your primary goal, entertaining the audience.
That's the most important thing.
It is. It's like a comedian needs to develop a sixth sense,
Oh, yeah.
a way of reading the room, anticipating reaction,
Right.
and adjusting their performance in real time.
That makes sense.
It does. But they also acknowledge that sometimes, no matter how hard you try, jokes bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Crowds are unresponsive.
It happens.
And you just have to learn to recover gracefully.
That's where resilience comes in.
Absolutely. Being able to shake off a bad set, learn from your mistakes, and come back stronger next time.
They talk about self-reflection, analyzing what went wrong, and using those experiences to improve.
It's a constant process of learning and growth, you know? Even the most successful comedians are always evolving, experimenting,
Yeah.
pushing boundaries.
And that brings us to something the source material goes into quite deeply.
What's that?
The emotional and psychological toll of being a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
It's not all laughs and applause, is it?
It's not. There's a lot of pressure, rejection, and uncertainty.
So self-care is crucial.
But self-care is crucial.
It is finding healthy ways to manage stress, building a support system to help you through the ups and downs.
It's easy to romanticize the life of a comedian, but the reality is it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and resilience.
It does. And the source material doesn't shy away from the challenges.
No.
Dealing with rejection, managing finances, navigating the ever-changing world of digital media.
It's a really comprehensive look at the life of a comedian, isn't it?
It is. The highs and lows, the triumphs and struggles.
Yeah.
And the passion that drives them to keep making people laugh.
But they also give some practical advice
Yeah.
on how to navigate this challenging but ultimately rewarding career path.
They do. Finding your unique voice, developing a thick skin, and never giving up on your dream.
It's about finding that balance.
It is. Between the art and the business, the personal and the professional.
Right.
The laughter and the tears.
Exactly. It's all part of the journey. It is a journey for sure.
It sounds like it.
But the source material also talks about things like comedy festivals and competition.
Oh, yeah.
Which, can be great ways to get exposure.
Right.
Maybe even launch a career.
Yeah. They even use the example of Jim Gaffigan, right?
They do, yeah. His career really took off after he did well at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
So are these festivals like the Olympics of comedy?
Yeah, kinda. You get to compete against the best
Mhm.
and maybe even take home the gold.
That's awesome.
But they also point out that competitions can be brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the competition is tough, and there's always that risk of bombing in front of a huge audience.
So it takes a lot of guts to get up there.
It does. You have
Yeah.
to have a thick skin and be willing to put yourself out there, knowing that you might not win.
But even if you don't win,
Yeah.
just participating in these festivals must be a valuable experience.
It is. It's a chance to get feedback on your material, learn from other comedians, network with people in the industry.
Like a comedian's boot camp.
Exactly. You're training, refining your skills.
Getting ready to battle it out on the comedic stage.
Exactly. And whether you win or lose, the most important thing is to keep learning, keep growing.
And keep pursuing that passion for making people laugh.
That's what it's all about in the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, comedy is about connecting with an audience, sharing a laugh,
Right.
maybe even making the world a slightly better place.
I like that. The source material really reminds us that comedy is about spreading joy, challenging perspective,
Yeah.
reminding us of our shared humanity.
It's pretty powerful when you think about it that way.
It is. A well-crafted joke or a funny story can have a profound impact.
It really can.
And the source material actually ends on a really optimistic note.
Oh, yeah.
It says that the future of comedy is bright,
Okay.
but it belongs to those who are willing to adapt, innovate, and keep pushing boundaries.
So for any aspiring comedians out there listening, what would your biggest piece of advice be?
Well, first of all, find your unique voice. Develop a thick skin and never give up on your dreams.
That's good advice.
And remember, every time you step on stage, you're not just performing.
There's more to it.
You're learning. Embrace those moments of failure, the awkward silences, the jokes that bomb.
Right.
Use them as fuel to refine your craft.
So it's all about embracing the journey.
It is the ups and
The
downs.
pursuit of making people laugh.
Exact. And if you're really serious about getting into stand-up comedy, I highly recommend checking out Ignite Your Comedy.
Okay.
It's available on Amazon, Kindle, and Google Play Books.
Sounds like a great resource.
It is.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of stand-up comedy.
It's been a fun one.
It has. Exploring the science, the craft, the business, the heart of this amazing art form.
It really is an art form.
It is. And remember, laughter is a powerful force, so keep those laughs coming.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Keep those comedic fires burning. I like that.
Yeah.
But, it sounds like being a comedian is not for the faint of heart.
It's not easy, that's for sure.
But the source material also talks about, things like comedy festivals and competition.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like that could be a great way for up-and-coming comedians to get some exposure.
It definitely can be. Yeah.
Maybe even launch a career.
They can be an incredible opportunity to get to showcase your skills, network with industry professionals, and there's always that chance of getting discovered.
Right, it's like the big leagues.
It is. They even talk about Jim Gaffigan as an example.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, his career took off after he had a successful run at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
So it really can happen.
It can. But they also emphasize that competitions can be brutal.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, like I said, the competition is fierce, and you could totally bomb in front of a huge audience.
That's got to be nerve-wracking.
It is. It takes a certain level of resilience and a willingness to put yourself out there, knowing you might not win.
So even if you don't win, just participating in these festivals is a valuable experience.
Oh, absolutely. It's a chance to get feedback on your material, learn from other comedians, network with people in the industry.
Well, it's like a comedian's boot camp.
It really is. You're training, refining your skills, getting ready to battle it out on stage.
That's cool.
And whether you win or lose, the most important thing is to keep learning and growing and keep pursuing that passion for making people laugh.
Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right?
It is.
Connecting with an audience, sharing a laugh, maybe even making the world a slightly better place.
You got it. The source material reminds us that comedy, at its core, is about spreading joy, challenging perspectives,
Right.
reminding us of our shared humanity.
You got the good point. It's kind of inspiring to think about.
It is.
That a well-crafted joke, a funny story, can have such a profound impact.
It really can. And the source material ends on a pretty optimistic note.
Oh.
It emphasizes that the future of comedy is bright.
Good.
But it belongs to those who are willing to adapt, innovate, and keep pushing the boundary.
Those are the ones who are going to make it.
Exact. So for any aspiring comedians out there listening,
Yeah, what would your biggest piece of advice be?
find your unique voice, develop a thick skin, and never give up on your dreams.
I like that.
And remember, every time you step on stage, you're not just performing, you're learning. Embrace those moments of failure.
Right.
Those awkward silences, the jokes that bomb.
Oh, yeah, those happen.
They do, and use them as fuel to refine your craft.
It's all about embracing the journey.
It is. The ups, the downs, the constant pursuit of making people laugh.
Exactly. And if you're looking to delve deeper into this world of stand-up, our expert actually has a book out called Ignite Your Comedy.
I do.
Available on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
It is, yeah.
So be sure to check that out. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of stand-up comedy.
A fascinating world.
It is. We explored the science, the craft, the business, the heart of this incredible art form.
It's been fun.
It really has. And remember, laughter is a powerful force, so keep those laughs coming.
Keep them coming.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep laughing, and keep those comedic fires burning.
We'll see you next time.